here first at noon. Diana Kojakari, the mother of missing 12-year-old Madalina Kojakari, pleading not guilty in court this morning for failing to report her daughter missing. Queen City News reporter Savannah Rudisell is live outside the Mecklenburg County Courthouse with those new developments. Savannah?
Yeah, Annie, by pleading not guilty, Diana Cojocari and her lawyers agree to take this case to trial. Now, no one has seen her daughter Madalina in about 8 months. Now, she and her husband, Christopher Palmiter, are charged with felonies. They spent most of that time that her daughter's been missing behind bars. They're both charged with a felony count of failure to report a missing child. Now, Diana's lawyer says that the prosecution did not offer any plea deals, so there was no possibility of reduced jail time or any other incentive for pleading guilty. The judge did not yet set a date for that trial. Today's arraignment really only lasted less than a minute.
Ms. Cojocari, do you understand the charge against you?
I do.
And do you understand what the maximum possible punishment is if you're convicted of the charge? Do you have any questions about the charge or the punishment? And is it your intention to plead not guilty and proceed to trial?
Yes.
Diana's husband, 60-year-old Christopher Palmiter, is still due for an arraignment today. He'll face a judge this afternoon right around 2 o'clock. His day in court also includes a bond hearing and a motions hearing. We'll have crews in the courtroom that whole time as well. You can keep up with the latest developments on air and online at qcnews.com. Reporting live at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse, Savannah Rudisell, Queen City News.
Developing tonight, the stepfather of missing girl Madalina Cojocari is now out on bond.
And Channel 9 pushed him for answers as he left the Mecklenburg County Jail tonight.
Do you have any kind of a message for her?
Our Glenn Counts there walking alongside Chris Palmiter, working to try to get him to answer any questions before he got into a truck and they left the area.
Chopper 9 Sky Zoom then tracked that truck as it drove out of uptown Charlotte, and it went straight to Palmiter's home in Cornelius. And that's where we saw him get out and quickly go inside that home. Channel 9's veteran crime reporter Glenn Counts waited outside the Mecklenburg County Jail for Palmiter's release, and that is where we find Glenn live tonight at that very same spot. Glenn?
And Glenn, this was the first chance that you've had to try to get answers from Palmiter in this story.
Well, you're right about that, Scott. For 24 hours, we waited for Chris Palmiter to walk out of those doors, and once he did, we were hoping that he might stop and answer a few questions. After 9 months behind bars, Christopher Palmiter got his first taste of fresh air this afternoon as he walked out of the Mecklenburg County Jail. Can you just give us some idea how she's doing? Do you know where Madalina is? Of course, Palmiter faced a ton of reporters and a flood of questions. In his efforts to evade us, he kept going back in and out of the building. Do you have any kind of a message for her?
Where are you going from here, Christopher?
Did you sell her? As you can see, he didn't answer any questions. Palmiter is charged with failing to report a child's disappearance. 12-year-old Madalina Cojocari was last seen getting off her school bus in November.
She didn't text Chris?
Palmiter went before a judge yesterday who reduced his bond from $200,000 to $25,000. He entered a not guilty plea, and his attorney blamed Madalina's mother, Diana Cojocari, for the disappearance, saying that she sent her daughter away for her safety. How concerned are you for her welfare? Are you afraid she might be dead? We spoke to Madalina's grandmother, Rodika, following the court appearance. She spoke to our Hannah Getz in Russian, and she is worried that the 12-year-old has been trafficked.
We need to stop them. The sooner the better. Thank you very much for everything. But I know that our Madalina is alive. Alive, not dead. Alive, but she was stolen and sold.
Is there anything that you could say to give her grandmother some peace? Now, Diana Cojocari is still in jail tonight behind me here, and even though she was also in court, she too pleaded not guilty, but the judge did not reduce her bond, and so tonight there is no word on when she might be getting out. Reporting live from the Mecklenburg County Jail, Glenn Counts, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Glenn, thank you. And here's what we know about Palmiter's bond conditions. He'll have to wear an electronic monitor on his ankle and he'll be on a curfew. We're working to learn what that time is and when it goes into effect each day.
Here's more about how we got here. Chris Palmiter told police he last saw Madalina November the 16th, 1 week before he took a trip to Michigan. Madalina was last seen in public by others on November 21st. This video shows her getting off of her school bus that day at 4:59 p.m. Now, Madalina's mother, Diana, says she last saw Madalina go to bed on November 23rd, and she says she could not find her the next day. On November the 26th, Palmiter returned home, and the parents say that's when they realized Madalina was gone. Diana reporting Madalina missing on December the 15th, telling the police that she waited to report it because she, quote, worried that it might start a conflict with Palmiter. Police arrested both of them on December the 17th. Now, Channel 9 is first tonight, 2 not guilty pleas. Madalina Kojakari's mother and stepfather pushing back on charges that they failed to report her missing.
And new theories out today about what happened to the girl last seen getting off her bus in November of last year. Channel 9's Hannah Getz spent today at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse. And
Hannah talked to Madalina's grandmother and then worked to translate the conversation.
2 court appearances, 2 words uttered by each defendant's attorney.
We enter a not guilty plea at this time, Your Honor.
Madalina Kojakari's mom, Diana, and stepdad, Christopher Palmiter, both pleading not guilty for not reporting her missing. Their silence throughout this whole case in stark contrast to Madalina's grandmother, Rodica. For 25 minutes, she stood outside the courthouse speaking Russian about the daughter she just saw in court and the granddaughter who hasn't been seen since getting off her school bus in November.
I want her to know I love her very much, so much, and Diana. I love them so much.
Rodica is concerned Madalina may have been trafficked.
We need to stop them. The sooner the better. Thank you very much for everything. But I know that our Madalina is alive. Alive, not dead. Alive, but she was stolen and sold.
It's a theory we first heard last month. Through warrants in the case Channel 9 obtained, we learned investigators recorded a jail call between Diana and her mother. In that call, the women talked about a bag with cash in it and the possibility Madalina was sold. But this afternoon, Palmiter's attorney shared a different theory in court, that it was Diana Kojakari who sent Madalina away because she was afraid for her daughter's safety.
He believes that she's being cared for by her mother or whatever assignee that she's placed in his care.
Palmiter's attorney's story is a new twist, one that isn't supported by the investigative documents we've obtained so far. And while it became clear today that the 2 sides of this family don't agree on how Madalina disappeared, they do share the hope that the 12-year-old is still alive.
My Madalina is alive, and I hope that the FBI, the detectives, will find my granddaughter and we all get back together with Diana and Madalina.
That was Hannah Getz reporting. For months, Channel 9 has followed the search for that girl.
Good morning, Your Honor. William Bears on behalf of the state. Next matter we have for you is Diana Cojocari. This can be found outside lines 5 of Your Honor's docket. Counsel, in the matter of 22 CRS 366-540, 1 count of failure to report the disappearance of a child to law enforcement. How does your client plead?
Hey, police court, Your Honor, Dan Roberts and Susan Wiegand on behalf of Ms. Cojocari, we enter a not guilty plea at this time, Your Honor. The state did not offer any plea agreements in this case as far as for the record.
What's our prior record?
Prior record of 1, Your Honor.
Ms. Cojocari, do you understand the charge against you?
I do.
And do you understand what the maximum possible punishment is if you're convicted of the charge? Do you have any questions about the charge or the punishment? And is it your intention to plead not guilty and proceed to trial?
Yes.
All right, I'll order her not guilty plea recorded.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. We will set this for trial at the next available date. Your Honor, the next matter we have for you is Christopher Palmiter. That can be found outside line 1 on your Honor's afternoon docket. This matter is on for several items to include an arraignment, a bond hearing, and a motion to compel discovery. After speaking with defense counsel Mr. Roseman, we agreed that the best order of operations is we would handle the bond hearing first, then the motion to compel, then the arraignment. So in regards to the bond hearing, Your Honor, Madalina Kojakari, the now 12-year-old girl, has been missing since November 21st of 2022, when she was seen on camera exiting her school bus in Cornelius, North Carolina. The defendant, Christopher Palmiter, is Madalina's stepfather, who lived with Madalina, as well as Madalina's mother, the co-defendant, Diana Cojocari. According to the defendant and the co-defendant, Madalina was last seen on November 22nd, 2022, when she went to her room that evening. After it was determined that Madalina could not be located and that both defendants had known of her disappearance for over 3 weeks but failed to report her missing to law enforcement, they were arrested and charged each with 1 count of failure to report the disappearance of a child to law enforcement. The arrest occurred on December 17th, 2022, and since then both defendants have remained in pretrial custody here at Mecklenburg County Jail. The Cornelius Police Department, the State Bureau of Investigation, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation immediately began conducting a joint investigation.
All right, Mr. Roseman, I'll ask that, as a moving party, you draft a proposed order and after consultation with the state.
Yes, ma'am.
As to form, submit that for my signature.
Yes, ma'am, I will. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the state will move expeditiously using that to go. Thank you, Mr. The last matter we have for you regarding the defendant honor is an arraignment.
Yes, ma'am, we're ready.
Counsel, in the matter of 22 CRS 366223, 1 count of failure to report a child's disappearance to law enforcement. How does your client plead?
May it please the court, Your Honor, in consultation with my client, that he plead not guilty. Request a trial by jury.
Your Honor, the state has not made a plea offer in this case. We will set this at the earliest available trial date.
It's a prior record number 1, as I recall.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Palmiter, do you understand the charge against you? Do you understand what the maximum possible punishment is if you're convicted of the charge?
Yes.
And is it your intention, sir, to plead not guilty and proceed to trial?
Yes.
I don't order his not guilty plea recorded.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Is there a holding date? Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Developments to share in the case of missing Cornelius girl Madalina Cojocari.
Within the last few hours, a judge lowering the bond for Madalina's stepfather, Christopher Palmiter, from $200,000 to $25,000. We thought that was interesting. So Palmiter also pleading not guilty for failing to report Madalina's disappearance. Just earlier today, though, Madalina's mother, Diana Cojocari, also pleading not guilty on the same charge. You'll remember Madalina was last seen November 23rd getting off a school bus in Cornelius, but her parents did not tell police she was missing until December 15th. That was 3 weeks later.
WCNC Charlotte's Lexi Wilson was in court today as both parents faced a judge. Lexi is joining us now from outside the Mecklenburg County Courthouse. What happened today, Lexi?
It was tense in court today. Both parents pleaded not guilty to their charges, which means this case will head to trial as Madalina remains missing. Defense attorneys laying out their case why Christopher Palmiter claims he did not know Madalina went missing. Prosecutors calling that ridiculous.
The idea that he could have been in his home for 3 weeks and not know that she was missing is laughable.
In the end, the judge gave Palmiter a lower bond Thursday at $25,000 secured. He's charged with failure to report the disappearance of a child to law enforcement. His wife, Madalina's mom, Diana Kojakari, faces the same charge. Both pleaded not guilty to the charges. The state did not offer a plea deal to either of them. Madalina was last seen in November getting off this school bus. Today, we heard from Diana Kojakari's mother, Madalina's grandmother. With the help of a translator, she shared pictures with us and told us she believes Christopher Palmiter is a criminal and that he sold Madalina. My Madalina is alive, and I hope the FBI and detectives find my granddaughter, and together with Diana and Madalina, will leave this country. I asked her if she had a message for Madalina. Through tears, she says that I love her very, very much. Madalina and Diana, I love them very much. And it is possible that Palmiter could be bonded out of jail today. And if he does get out of jail, he will have to wear an ankle monitor. Reporting live at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse for WCNC Charlotte, I'm Lexi Wilson.
And we'll be watching for those up.
Я хочу, чтобы освободить, чтобы остановить этих бандитов и чтобы этих детей возвращать в их семьи обратно. Вот что я хочу. С Божьей помощью я знаю каждый шаг, когда молюсь, что они вытворяют, эти бандиты. Они настоящие трафиканты для людей, для молодых женщин, для красивых девушек, для умных детей. Они воруют только умные дети. Нехорошие дети они не воруют. Воруют только умные дети, которые стоят большие деньги. Понимаете? И я не для